This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip: when it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
The Roger Stone Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we're back on the Roger Stone Show on the Red Apple Audio Networks. Here we talk politics, news, history, style, food, but politics is in my blood. I think if you cut me, I'd bleed politics. Joining me now is one of the very best investigative journalists in the country today, Sean Trejo, who has focused on Latin American politics, specifically the illegal drug trade and the migrant crisis. Joins us today on the Roger Stone Show with a very special focus on Honduras. Both Shane Trejo and I have written extensively about the situation in Honduras, and that seems to have upset certain Honduran socialists. So, Shane, welcome to the Roger Stone Show.
Happy to be here.
So let's start from the beginning. Can you explain who Juan Orlando Hernandez is and exactly what happened to him?
Absolutely. So Juan Orlando Hernandez, or JOH as he's called, was the former president of Honduras, elected to 2 terms. He was very much a pro-Trump president. He worked closely with Trump to stop the flow of drugs and stop the flow of migrants coming up to the U.S. southern border. It's been proven that the flow of drugs was slowed during his tenure, and he actually signed the extradition treaty with the United States so drug criminals could be prosecuted more easily, and led landmark conservative reforms in Honduras to bring in Western capital and open up more jobs. At the time, he was considered Latin America's top ally of the Trump administration. This was kind of before Bukele in El Salvador and Milei in Argentina. So JOH was a forerunner to those sort of leaders. But then it completely turned. Once Biden became in office, he was indicted by the Biden administration as soon as his successor, Xiomara Castro, far leftist aligned with Maduro in Venezuela. She took over, and then JOH was extradited as part of the Biden administration's effort to crush the rise of freedom in Latin America. And then JOH was put up for trial, and they used the unproven testimony compelled by the DEA of the people that JOH cracked down on, the drug criminals he helped put in jail. They gave the unproven testimony in order to put him behind bars and unfortunately successfully railroad him and get the conviction against JOH. So this whole situation has really hurt the people of Honduras, and it also is hurting us because it means more flow of drugs, more migrants coming up to the U.S. southern border. So it's had very negative ramifications for the Americas.
So in other words, just to put it in the common parlance, they framed Juan Orlando Hernandez, and in his trial, they used to testify against him federal informants and the very criminals that he had put away for drug trafficking. Sounds very, very Biden-esque to me. The kind of thing they tried to do to President Donald Trump in their tsunami of lawfare against him. It's interesting that when we just question them or their tactics in their most recent election, they go out of their mind, calling us colonialists, saying that we're the ones who are anti-freedom, claiming that we want Honduras to be a military base for the United States. The overreaction of these people is really extraordinary.
It certainly is, and then you see the Biden regime getting involved in Honduran affairs, and then they helped get rid of JOH, which strengthened Xiomara Castro, the leftist who's now in power, and then she has her own drug-related things that are going on with her administration. Her brother-in-law, the former Secretary of Congress, Carlos Zelaya, he was caught speaking about drug money that had been received by his brother, Mel Zelaya, former president of Honduras. They referenced an alleged $500,000 that Mel Zelaya had received in bribe money from the cartels. So they were caught talking to traffickers about this. And the traffickers on the hidden camera video agreed to put together $650,000 for Carlos Zelaya to ensure his compliance with what they wanted to do, keep trafficking. And Carlos Zelaya said half must go to the commander, quote unquote, meaning his brother, with the rest of the drug money going into the coffers of the Libre Party that Xiomara Castro represents. So the entire operation was fueled by drug money from the start, but that is who the Biden regime put in power in Honduras because they wanted to frame JOH, they wanted to put him behind bars, they wanted to send a message to all of Latin America that you will not be free. We're going to have these, tin pot dictator tyrants in power there. You'll be impoverished. You'll have no chance of ever rising up and having a better life. But it's better for the globalists because the spigot of migrants won't be stopped, and we want to overrun all these different Western countries with migrants because we believe that when the demographics change, the socialists and the Democrats will be able to keep power, and that is their agenda. And it's clear that agenda does not help America, the United States, but it also doesn't help places like Honduras too, because they're living under, they're in the yoke of socialist tyranny, and the United States has contributed to that, and that's not going to make a country like Honduras like us anymore. But we do have the chance now to remedy this with elections coming up in November in Honduras.
Yeah, I can tell you that Xiomara Castro should not sleep well at night. I've written a formal letter to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, to the acting head of the DEA, and to FBI Director Kash Patel, urging him to investigate the drug activities of Xiomara Castro and her government in efforts to get a warrant for her arrest because she is epically corrupt. You just cited the evidence, and I think that's the tip of the iceberg. We're not going to stop. We're not going to go away. In fact, the most recent piece that you and I wrote, I blast emailed that to 750,000 journalists in this hemisphere. People need to know the Honduran regime is epically corrupt. They're up to their nose in drug dealing. They're also a siphon for illegal immigration. The more they complain about your reporting, the more we're going to spread it. This is kind of typical of the Biden administration. The tactics here were the same exact tactics they tried to use against Donald Trump. Last week, in a piece that we wrote together, I urged President Trump to pardon the former president, Juan Orlando Hernandez. I thought that the commies were going to lose their minds.
And from what I've seen, they did. It's a lot of anger from the communists, particularly in Latin America, and a lot of biased left-wing media reports. They're very angry, but it's resonating among the people. On TikTok and on social media, there's a lot of clamor for freeing JOH. And with President Trump in office, he's issued many great pardons that I don't think any other president would have considered. We had Russ Ulbricht, Silk Road proprietor. He was freed by President Trump, Sheriff Scott Jenkins as well, and many others. So, the pardon attorney for President Trump, Ed Martin, he had a great post on X where he said, no MAGA left behind. We cannot leave anyone who is MAGA behind and let them, rot behind bars because of, biased and politically motivated lawfare that was waged against them. And JOH is certainly, among them. He was a Trump partner. He worked closely with Trump. They appeared in public together, and Trump praised him and what he was doing in Honduras. So he was a great partner of the administration. And so it's not just the right thing to do, but it would also drive a stake through the heart of the propaganda from Xiomara Castro and the Libre Party heading into elections in November. She said she was, I'm going to clean up the country from, JOH and et cetera. But, a pardon of JOH would delegitimize the entire basis of her campaign and her party, and put her, on the defensive and put her party on the defensive. This, and the wannabe Maduros of Honduras, they would be ousted, and then that would free up Honduras to join El Salvador and Argentina as nations that are undergoing cultural and economic renaissance in Latin America. And that's what the people want down there. I've traveled down there a couple of times, met with a lot of different people. And they want to make their country great again. And, this would be a way, freeing JOH would be a way to help with that without, firing a single bomb or a bullet or getting involved, militarily, which is what has been done throughout the U.S. for the past many decades. This would be a very easy and moral way to make sure that the people of Honduras are that much closer to getting the freedom that they want and deserve.
All right, if you're just tuning in, this is the Roger Stone Show. We're talking to Shane Trejo, investigative journalist par excellence, and we'll be right back.
The Roger Stone Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This shrimp and coconut sauce is divine. What's your secret?
Goya coconut milk.
How does it taste so good?
It's all in that real coconut flavor and that rich, creamy texture.
What about thickeners and added sugars?
None. Just smooth, coconutty goodness.
What can I make with it?
From curries to sweet treats like coconut flan, the possibilities are endless.
Goya coconut milk. Take your cooking to the next level. No question about it. Find it in the Goya section of your local grocery store. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
Roger Stone here for Colonial Metals Group. Pay attention, because China is leading the largest anti-American alliance since World War II. One that's already dumped U.S. bonds, grabbed 43 million acres of our farmland, and is plotting to dethrone the dollar. That's why IRA and 401k savers are protecting their savings with gold. Go to freegoldguide.com/stone or call 800-747-6589 for your free gold guide on how to protect your wealth with gold, and it's 100% tax-free.
Hi, this is Joe from Vanta. In today's digital world, compliance regulations are changing constantly, and earning customer trust has never mattered more. Vanta helps companies get compliant fast and stay secure with the most advanced AI, automation, and continuous monitoring out there. So whether you're a startup going for your first SOC 2 or ISO 27001, or a growing enterprise managing vendor risk, Vanta makes it quick, easy, and scalable. And I'm not just saying that because I work here. Get started at Vanta.com.
Welcome to It Takes Energy, presented by Energy Transfer, where we talk all things oil and natural gas. Oil and gas drive our economy, ensure our country's security, and open pathways to brighter futures. When it comes to meeting the world's energy needs, more is better. What we mean is our world needs a wide range of energy sources to meet our increasing needs. Just wind or solar won't get us there, as the sun doesn't always shine and the wind doesn't always blow. With our growing population and the increasing use of energy-demanding technologies like AI, reliability is key, and the reliability of natural gas is unmatched by wind and solar. That doesn't mean we all can't work together, but natural gas is vital to ensuring we meet our energy needs. Look around, and you'll see the essential role oil and gas plays in our lives. Our world needs oil and gas, and people rely on us to deliver it. To learn more, visit energytransfer.com.
The Roger Stone Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we're back. We're talking to Shane Trejo, one of the very best investigative journalists working in the country today. I want to change for a moment to domestic politics. Shane, I'm interested in your assessment of the No Kings demonstration. I guess it was last weekend. Obviously, if you looked at the crowd, the No Kings part did not include Burger King, because I haven't seen this many corpulent women protesting in my long political career. I think this series of demonstrations across the country was an amazing dud. First, there's the hypocrisy of people who nominated a candidate for president with no Democratic input whatsoever. No, somebody who did not garner a single vote in a Democrat primary or caucus or convention. Someone that Nancy Pelosi and the Clintons and the Obamas chose behind closed doors, Kamala Harris. Although as a candidate, she wasn't much of a queen. But them insisting that Trump was a king, this thing was a big old flopperoo, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And, you got to think there's a lot of resources that were thrown into it. The Soros astroturfing, all these different NGOs and nonprofits, their network really, put a lot of effort into promoting this so that it could be the big show against President Trump. They're trying to tap into that Antifa, Black Lives Matter energy of 2020, but it's just not there. Their people are deflated, they're demoralized. They know that the left knows that they were sold out by Biden as well, that they were sold a bill of goods and everything that all the different lies that they were told. It takes its toll, and the victory of Trump, the political comeback of Trump, was a demoralizing death blow to this protest movement. So they can't gin up the hatred like they used to against President Trump. They're deflated, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better for the Democrats. I think more and more you're going to see the far left extremists of the left. They're going to be setting their sights at the Democrat Party establishment itself, and we're going to see more of a civil war than these people going after Trump for being a dictator or a king or whatever. And it's also so ridiculous that they don't want kings, but they wanted Joe Biden to go after all the J6ers. They wanted Biden to throw Trump in prison and take all these ridiculous, unconstitutional powers. So it did not resonate with the broader public because of the hypocrisy, and it didn't even resonate with the far leftists who just can't get back into it, just can't get ginned up like they used to because of how bad the Democrats and the left have been in recent years.
I also think it's significant that the No Kings demonstrations happened post-Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, Donald Trump demonstrated he was not going to make the error that was made in 2020. So if Antifa and BLM foster violence, if they throw rocks and bottles and concrete and baggies of feces and urine at law enforcement agents, including agents, they're going to get answered by the National Guard and by the U.S. Marines. He will not brook any violence. I think he showed that in Los Angeles. And had violence broken out around the so-called No Kings demonstrations, I think he would have moved aggressively in that regard. This is a battle-hardened Donald Trump we have now. This is a much wiser Donald Trump we have now. The New York City Democrat primary will be an important indicator. I'm not a giant fan of Andrew Cuomo, but I do think he's sane. I think he actually still believes in America. He's not a socialist. But if Zohan Mamdani wins, that'll be a very bad sign for the Democrat Party. It will mean that the Democrat Party, the party of John F. Kennedy, the party of Harry Truman, that party is in fact dead. All right, I want to thank my guest, Shane Trejo. We'll be right back with Bill Pulte. He's the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency. He's going to tell us why the Federal Reserve must cut interest rates now. Don't go away.
The Roger Stone Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome to It Takes Energy, presented by Energy Transfer, where we talk all things oil and natural gas. Oil and gas drive our economy, ensure our country's security, and open pathways to brighter futures. What do you know about oil and natural gas? You likely associate them with running your car or heating your home. But these two natural resources fuel so much more than that. More than 6,000 consumer products that we rely on every day are made using oil and gas. Before you even step out the door in the morning, you've already used more products made possible because of oil and gas than you realize. From the toothpaste you brush your teeth with, the soap you washed your face with, and the sheets you slept on. Not to mention your makeup, contact lenses, clothes, and shoes. Oil and gas are vital parts of all these products and so many more. Look around and you'll see the essential role oil and gas plays in our lives. Our world needs oil and gas, and people rely on us to deliver it. To learn more, visit energytransfer.com.